Have you ever wondered what it's really like to lose everything? I mean, to hit rock bottom. Today, we're not just analyzing a song, we're diving into one of the most brutal and maybe one of the most liberating stories ever told in music. This is a story of Bob Dylan's masterpiece, Like a Rolling Stone. You know, every great story needs a beginning, and this one, it starts right at the very top. With this one line, Dylan paints a perfect picture. He introduces our main character not just as rich, but as the absolute pinnacle of high society. She's living the fairy tale, a modern-day queen. And just like that, boom, the fairy tale is over. We barely get a glimpse of her glory before Dylan yanks the rug out from under her. This line is so quick, so brutal, it sets up the whole point of the story. A huge fall from grace, and everyone's watching. So, to really get what's happening here, we're going to look at this song like a 4-act play. Each stanza is an act, and each one takes us deeper into the downward spiral of our protagonist, the woman he calls Miss Lonely. Okay, let's get into Act 1, the prime. This is Miss Lonely in her natural habitat. She's perched way up high on the social ladder, totally shielded from the real world by all her money and her status. And here's the thing, she wasn't just wealthy, she was arrogant. From way up in her ivory tower, she'd look down on everybody else like they were just entertainment. She's laughing at people on the fringes, with no idea that one day she'd be one of them. You can feel the judgment in these lyrics, can't you? Dylan isn't just describing how condescending she was, he's throwing her past right back in her face. It feels personal, sharp, and you just can't deny it. And the reversal is just savage. Think about it. She went from casually tossing a dime to people she called bums to now having to literally scrounge around for her own food. That gap between then and now, that's her entire story in a nutshell. After painting that incredibly stark picture, Dylan drops the question, the big one. This isn't just a chorus, you know? It's this relentless, nagging question that's going to follow her, haunt her every single step of the way down. It's the one thing she can't escape. So, on to Act 2, the fall. Miss Lonely isn't in her tower anymore. Nope, she's been kicked out onto the street. All her privilege is gone, and now she has to figure out how to survive in a world she never even knew was there. And this is where the irony really bites. All that money spent on the finest school might have taught her how to act in high society, but it taught her absolutely nothing about how to make it on the streets. Her fancy education is completely useless now. There's no poetry here, is there? This is just cold, hard truth. Dylan lays it out so plainly, you have no idea what you're doing. And this new world you've been thrown into, the one you were never even taught to see, well, you better get used to it. It's a brutal lesson in reality. In this new life, she's running into people she would have just ignored or pitied before. This mystery tramp is the face of her new world, and her encounter with him shows just how far she's fallen. For the very first time, she has to negotiate. She can't just command. Wow, this moment is just pure desperation. She, the woman who had everything, is now staring into the eyes of a man who has nothing, and she's the one asking him for a deal. The power has completely flipped. This has got to be rock bottom, or at least it feels like it. Okay, now we're in Act 3. She's lost her money, she's lost her status, and now Miss Lonely's about to learn another really hard lesson. Her friends were never really her friends. Her whole social circle was basically a mirage. See, in her world, people were just performers in her own private circus. The jugglers and the clowns, they were there for one reason: her amusement. It probably never even occurred to her that they were real people with their own feelings. The imagery here is just devastating, isn't it? This line perfectly captures how totally self-absorbed she was. She was so focused on her own fun that she was completely blinded to the fact that the people entertaining her might have been miserable. And her disillusionment didn't stop with her entertainers. Even her most glamorous friends were just as fake. This diplomat on the chrome horse, this guy who seems so powerful and cool, he turns out to be just another parasite. And then comes that awful click of realization. That sophisticated guy she thought was so great, turns out he was nothing. And as soon as her money was gone, he showed his true colors and took everything else he could steal on his way out the door. And that brings us to the final act. She's lost everything. Everything. But in hitting rock bottom, Miss Lonely finds something she never, ever expected. This really strange and powerful kind of freedom. Her old life is completely gone. Vanished. The exclusive parties, the pretty people, the money that used to define her, it's all worthless now. None of those things mean anything on the street. That diamond ring, it's the last, heartbreaking symbol of her old life. It used to be a sign of her status, but now it's just a way to survive. Pawning it is the final, official break from the person she used to be. So the final stanza hits us with this powerful paradox. I mean, by losing everything, her status, her stuff, for her whole identity, she gets this freedom she never had before. When you have nothing left to protect, you don't have to pretend anymore. She's hit absolute zero. When you got nothing to lose. But in that total emptiness, there's a weird kind of peace. She's invisible now. No secrets to hide. She's finally free from the weight of her old life. And maybe, for the very first time, she can just be her. And so we end right back where we started, with that one single biting question. After this epic fall, after losing everything that defined her, and then finding this strange liberation in having nothing, how does it feel? And the genius of Dylan is, he never gives us the answer. He just leaves us and her to wonder.